Okay, welcome everyone to my presentation about SAP HANA and Red Hat Enterprise Linux for SAP Solutions. My name is Kim Thomas Rehmann. I'm very happy that all of you guys have found the way here, even late in the afternoon. Okay, I'm going to talk about innovate and simplify, work faster and smarter with SAP HANA on Red Hat Enterprise Linux for SAP Solutions. And this is something like the motto for our partnership. Now you can find on the flyers that are distributed on your seat. Let's do something great together. This is the work and the cooperation between Red Hat and SAP. The power of partnership. Before we can get started, let me show the disclaimer. I don't want to read it through, but these are the items on the agenda for today's talk. I'm going to motivate what HANA brings for the enterprise. I will talk about the SAP HANA Platform. The Tailored Datacenter Integration is now in phase 5. I will give a short summary of latest features of SAP HANA 2.0 SP03. And I will also, of course, talk about what's specifically inside of Red Hat Enterprise Linux for SAP Solutions. That's what Red Hat does for us as SAP and for the cooperation. So these are some buzzwords in the cloud. You can see the cloud is there. The development platform, enterprise readiness is very important for us as SAP, as we're the enterprise software company. In-memory data management is one of the key features of HANA, and HANA also features an innovative architecture. These are just some buzzwords, and here are some concepts flying in, what HANA brings and how HANA enables these concepts. I will get to the topics later on. I hope I can catch up everything. So let's come to a short motivation about SAP HANA. Actually, who of you has heard about HANA before? Please raise your hands. Okay, not everyone, so it seems a good idea to give a motivation of what HANA is. In the current IT landscapes, we have silos between the different domains of enterprise software, like manufacturing, finance, sales, human resources, whatever. All the different applications have separate logic and access separate data. And as you can imagine, there are a lot of ETL processes and staging to transfer the data from one application to the other. And that brings limited availability of data and limitation of innovation. So what HANA does is to bring one platform for all these applications. So one data, and you can see the applications, of course, still separate applications. Again, manufacturing, finance, sales, HR. But also the application logic moves towards the data and is also part of the platform. So no separate application logic anymore. Everything's co-located with the data and integrated into the platform. And as you can imagine, this brings speed because the data is now all together and can be processed efficiently. Simplicity, no complicated processes to transfer the data anymore. And innovation is enabled as well because now the application logic is co-located with the data. And many more application logic can be implemented. So this one shows SAP HANA. Actually, I hope you can see it all implements not only just the database, but also the analytical processing. Application development is possible on SAP HANA, directly integrated with the database. Data access, of course. Administration, security. Flexible deployment is important nowadays. And openness. And down below you can see it processes any data within the enterprise. So the key capabilities of HANA are the following: that the database management has been transformed. Data is now processed in memory, as opposed to stored on disk, loaded into the memory, processed in the memory, then written back to the disk. Of course, HANA still has a persistency and stores the data on disk or on persistent storage, but the primary way to access data is data in the memory, in RAM. HANA makes it possible to leverage advanced analytics, and all the data is available together in the same storage. And it's possible, as I said before, to develop next generation applications. So SAP HANA Database is actually not so new anymore. I think now it's about 6 years old. But there are still innovations going on, of course. And after SAP HANA had been developed and released, more of SAP products have been built on top of HANA or going together well with HANA. So on the left side, you can see the SAP S/4HANA. That's the business suite for HANA that is specifically tailored towards HANA as opposed to other databases. And you can deploy it either on the cloud or on-premise or in a hybrid installation. And, well, this is our current enterprise business suite. In the center, you can see SAP Vora, which is, in addition to HANA, an engine to process massively distributed data, like big data, and it brings together Hadoop and SAP HANA data. On the right side, you can see the SAP BW for HANA. That's our integrated data warehouse. Also, this one has been integrated with HANA to take benefit specifically of the HANA database. For the development of HANA, you can see in the beginning, SAP HANA was released as in-memory platform. Later on, the SAP Business Warehouse, powered by SAP HANA, was ported to HANA. Then the SAP Business Suite, powered by SAP HANA, was released. The next thing that came was the Simple Finance on SAP HANA. That's just one part of the Business Suite. So finally, the whole SAP Business Suite, like whole SAP S/4HANA, has been released to benefit from SAP HANA. A similar history came for the BW for HANA, which started as a business warehouse for any database. Then it was ported to SAP HANA, and then the BW for HANA was implemented to benefit from the HANA specifically. Here you can see again what we have in the HANA database. There are lots of extensions to a traditional database which enable more diverse data processing. So you can see a spatial engine, a graph engine, predictive analytics are inside the database, text search, text analytics, also streaming data, series data, and business functions that are all part of the database. For the application development, HANA comes with a built-in web server, JavaScript support, lifecycle management, and everything that is needed for development and lifecycle purpose. On the right side, you see data integration and quality. There is virtualization of data. Data quality checks are implemented. Integration with Hadoop and Spark. And everything is based on the database management in the lowest row. HANA unifies OLTP and OLAP. I guess you know that OLTP is online transactional processing. OLAP is an online analytical processing. And both can be done at the same time on the same data. And this is made possible by a column storage, as opposed to the traditional databases, which store the data in row format. And the column storage also gives some benefit for better parallelization and taking advantage of multi-core CPUs, even multi-socket CPUs. We're addressing NUMA, like HANA is NUMA aware. The column storage, you can imagine, the columns can be compressed efficiently, more efficiently than rows could be compressed. HANA allows for multi-tenancy and multi-tier storage, so that you can keep hot data in HANA itself and warm data or cool data, that's data that's not accessed so frequently, is in some like remote storage that's also cheaper for the customers. While some more properties such as data modeling can be done within the database. HANA claims to be open and secure and highly available. Now, let's come to one of the cool things, how you can actually try out HANA, because everything that's said and can be presented nicely, but actually, when you want to try out HANA, you can just go to the HANA Express website. You register just with your name, company name, email address, maybe the phone number, and then you can download, for example, container images, VM images, or you can also have a traditional installer. No need to care about the hardware that you're running on. Even HANA can run on a laptop. The only limitation is the resource limitation, like up to 32 gigabytes of memory. And some of the functionality which is grayed out here is not supported with the HANA Express. So streaming analytics have been removed from HANA for that purpose, because usually for streaming you need some like advanced data setup, or you need to define the data streams and need some more infrastructure around. And usually you don't have it when you want to try out HANA as a developer. Same for the Hadoop and Spark integration, the data quality checking. Multi-tenancy has been dropped because for trying out you just need one tenant. And multi-tier is also not important for the developer edition. But that said, you can download without any cost a HANA version to try it out. And what you get is almost everything that's included with the commercial edition of HANA. Now let me talk a bit about how HANA is delivered to the customer. There are two delivery models currently, either the appliance or the Tailored Datacenter Integration. So when HANA was first released, it came out as a SAP HANA appliance, which means the customer buys everything from a ISV, like the hardware, operating system pre-installed, HANA pre-installed. So they just get the box delivered and everything's there for running instantly. That was done, of course, because for us as SAP and also for the operating system partner, it allows to fine-tune the system and to deliver everything like in a prepackaged format. But later on, customers were, of course, asking for more flexibility. That's why the TDI was developed, Tailored Datacenter Integration. And this one allows the customer to put everything together in pieces. So the customer can purchase the storage separately, purchase the server, of course, choose which virtualization option to use if they want to, purchase the operating system, can choose among several, and in the end, the HANA hardware directory defines what's there to choose. And the only requirement is that the components are chosen from the SAP HANA hardware directory and that a SAP certified engineer has to put everything together. The TDI went through several phases. As I said, first of all, started with the appliance before TDI was introduced. The phase 1 allowed for shared enterprise storage. The phase 2 and 3 allowed for shared networking. The generation 4 brought HANA as well on power processors. And the current one is the TDI version 5, actually allowing for more up-to-date CPUs, like the E7 version 5 and the Power 8 CPUs. And today, the customers have a great choice of hardware. So this one's, again, an image what all you can build from TDI. You can build single servers, you can build scale-out clusters, or even deploy HANA in the cloud. So what specifically comes with TDI phase 5? First thing is that TDI 5 allows for workload-dependent sizing. Before phase 5, the sizing was done depending on the type and number of CPUs that were used. So there was an interrelationship between the CPUs and the memory that the customer had to buy. And the memory, of course, can be computed from the memory consumption of the database, which is known already. And nowadays, the sizing can be done based on the subs. And subs is like a unit of measuring how complex the data is, how many operations are going on there. The second change introduced by TDI phase 5 is that the choice of CPUs is increased. Before phase 5, only the very expensive CPUs were allowed to be used because HANA had like certain requirements for good CPUs. And nowadays, cheaper CPUs are allowed as well. All E7 Skylake and Broadway CPUs with more than 8 cores are supported generally. So as you can see, the benefits are that the choice of CPUs is higher, also including the power CPUs, of course. And the system sizes can be chosen in a more flexible way. So the RAM size, first of all, as I said, can be computed depending on the workload that's actually going to be run. And there are not fixed correlation between the number of processors and the size of the memory, but it can depend and can be tailored towards the need of the customer. That said, the appliance model is still available for the customers who want to buy everything pre-configured and pre-installed. Now let me talk about one cool feature that came recently with the HANA 2 SPS 03. That's the near zero downtime upgrades. I mean, it was possible before, but with the SPS 03, we increased the flexibility of configuration. So you can see that an ERP system with the client library accesses a database. On the left side, the green one is the tier 1, the primary, and you configure some kind of synchronous or asynchronous replication to the one on the right, the tier 2, the secondary. So for the primary, read and write operations are allowed. The secondary is read enabled, so it can actually help to share the load with the primary concerning read requests, but all updates must still go through the primary. And now the new thing with the HANA 2 SPS 03 is that you can introduce additional layers, such as here you can see there's a tier 3, again a secondary. And what's quite popular with the customers is that you have tier 1 and tier 2 in the same data center or even in the same rack. And the tier 3 can be in a different location to provide disaster tolerance. And typically you have a synchronous replication between tier 1 and tier 2 and asynchronous replication between the tier 2 and tier 3. So in the middle picture, you can see how the near zero downtime is implemented with the takeover. So either you can just switch off the primary, or you can or the primary can, for example, have a hardware issue and crash. And in that case, the takeover happens and the tier 2 becomes the primary. And it now just doesn't not only have the read enabled, but also read-write enabled. And from that point in time, the tier 3, keep the road secondary, but now it's a direct secondary. And this box, for example, has crashed, or it needs an operating system update. So you can do this on the tier 1. And when it's finished, the tier 1 is restored, or comes up again, so to say. The replication is configured again. Now, of course, replicating the data in the other direction from the tier 2 to the tier 1. And when the data is finished with replicating, then the tier 1 can again assume the primary role. So using this approach, a upgrade or a takeover is possible within seconds. So no need for downtime, or for a noticeable downtime. Well, this slide lists a lot of benefits of the HANA 2, which was introduced about 1 year ago. And well, I think I can just mention that we have implemented artificial intelligence algorithms in addition to the business functions that were already in HANA. There's a graph viewer. There are new planning and advanced planning algorithms. The text analysis has been improved more. Spatial data processing has been introduced, and streaming analytics have also been a new thing with the HANA 2.0. Another useful thing is the dynamic tiering, as I said, with the distinction of hot data, warm data, and cold data, which allows to store the data in different databases like the SAP IQ, which is a more cost-efficient way to store data. And even the very cold data can be stored in a Hadoop. Okay, the HANA release strategy has been changed somewhat recently. Until 2017, it was said that the HANA 1 SPS 12, which is the current one, would be in maintenance until May 2019. And this maintenance time frame has been increased by 2 years. Now it's maintained until at least 2021. And the HANA 2, this is where the innovation happens. Until now, it had 2 SPS, so 2 like service packs per year. And each one had a maintenance duration of 1 year. This has been changed to have just 1 SPS per year. And the maintenance duration is 2 years, starting with SPS 02. And it was also defined that the last SPS of HANA 2 will have a 5-year long-term maintenance. Now, maybe for the guys who are more into operating systems, I already mentioned that HANA is supported on Intel and Power CPUs on the PPC64 Little Endian architecture. It was actually Big Endian for HANA 1, or it is still Big Endian for HANA 1, but I think any customer nowadays will install HANA 2 and the Little Endian version. The supported operating system is just Linux, no other. And actually the support statement is coupled to the actual minor version. So we are validating the individual like minor releases, such as RHEL 7.4 has been validated and found to be working well. And that's the one that's currently supported. And as you can imagine, now with the increased 1 year time frame between the SPs, the HANA SPs, OS releases will be introduced to be supported during the lifetime of an SP. That means we don't need to wait until next year until a new Red Hat, say, 7.5 is supported. But that's not a support statement now concerning Red Hat 7.5. And there are some SAP notes to document the operating system dependencies. The center one is the one listed here, the first one, to define which operating systems are supported with SAP HANA for HANA 1 as well as HANA 2, and the different CPU architectures, Intel and Power. And for every supported operating system, actually this one is the Red Hat, not SSS/, please don't look at it. This one's the Red Hat RHEL 7 node. And there's one note about the network configuration. There's a special note for HANA because for Power, because for Power some specific installation and setup guide applies. And HANA is compiled with recent compilers, which are not yet the official compilers in RHEL. So some GCC compatibility library is needed to make the code run well on the Red Hat. Just to show you the current release matrix for Red Hat, looks like this. So this one's talking about HANA 1. And the HANA SPs, SP 10 and 11 are somehow out of maintenance, so don't worry about that. What's important for you guys here is that RHEL 7.4 is supported for HANA 1, SPS 12, starting from the revision 122.14 and the new ones. And now the same thing for HANA 2. Again, SPS 0 is out of maintenance, so don't worry about that. The current one is the HANA, no, actually, oh, it's missing. Because just last month, HANA 2 SPS 03 was released, but basically looks the same, like everything supported, like RHEL 7.2, 7.3, and 7.4. With some restriction for the HANA revisions. But everything, like the latest one, is supported. Again, for Intel and Power. I could give you some advice how to tune the operating system. There's a lot to take care of to ensure that the huge amounts of memory can be utilized. The HANA installer takes care of some important limits to make sure that HANA can run at all. But if you configure these items, you can make sure that HANA runs like better, more efficient, with a better performance. Actually, this one is all documented in the note that I mentioned before. But don't worry about that, because Red Hat has made the Red Hat Enterprise Linux for SAP Solutions, it must say, because yeah, we also have on the fly, it's called SAP Solutions. And this one includes all the capabilities, everything that's needed to run SAP software on Red Hat. And why did Red Hat come up with it? Because it helps us as SAP and helps the customer to standardize the whole operating system landscape. So no need for, before we had a specific Red Hat Enterprise Linux for SAP HANA and another one called for SAP applications, and customers could also have the Red Hat Enterprise Linux without any for SAP something. But now with the Red Hat Enterprise Linux for SAP Solutions, customers could have can have everything. And in the end, this helps also to reduce the cost. Some features come with it to bring the benefit for the customer, like high availability. The RHEL for SAP Solutions includes the HA add-on. And what's also included is a smart management add-on. And the Red Hat Insights even is included, so that more benefit can be made from the Red Hat Enterprise Linux satellite. For best performance, the TuneD profile is included, so that you can just configure and have TuneD there, and no need to take care of all the performance tuning parameters that I mentioned on the previous slide. And to simplify the update planning and to make the installations more stable, up to 4 years of update service are included for certain certified minor releases. And on the slides, I also have the links where you can find more information on the RHEL for SAP Solutions. Again, here are the key components. And yeah, we as SAP are very happy to cooperate with Red Hat so efficiently and closely. And yeah, I think what we have here is now suitable for the customer needs. And yeah, we're just happy about it. Thank you everyone for your attention, and I'd be happy to answer your questions. Yes, please? That's a popular question. Let me repeat the question. You are asking, now that we have a new HANA SPS every year, what's the expectation to have certain RHEL minor versions validated and certified? Actually, I cannot comment on that because we don't know what the future brings. We are planning to support as much as possible, as soon as possible, together with Red Hat. We have implemented some ways to speed up the validation, but the experience showed in the past that it's quite useful to do the validation and to take the time so that the customer can benefit from a well-tested solution, because the HANA workload is not like mainstream or not like simple for the operating system to handle the huge memory sizes and such. There was one more question. Oh, in front, please. Question was if everything having in one appliance was modular. Well, for the appliance, of course, I mean, it's not modular in a sense that you get the whole HANA installed. And from that perspective, it's not modular, but like you could say the modularity comes with the applications on top of HANA. So in any case, you need the HANA, the whole HANA installation that you get with the appliance. And on top, you can build modular applications. And also, if the appliance model is too static, then you can go for the TDI, Tailored Datacenter Integration, to combine the hardware components according to your needs. Excuse me? In case you need more storage, yeah, you can just add it. I mean, according to, or still adhering to certain limitations, but I think there's no problem of like adding additional hard drives or increasing the network storage for it. Just make sure that you use the TDI components. And yeah, for the non-TDI, it's of course not as flexible. Well, you have to be on the EOS channels. You seem to be familiar with that. The question was if when you subscribe to the long-term support, the EUS, then whether you will be upgraded to a newer RHEL minor version. But when you specifically configure the EUS in your repositories, then you won't be upgraded. But that's the point of the EUS, that you stay on, say, RHEL 7.4, because that's the one that has been validated. That's the whole point of EUS. You have to check the channels, right? Okay. One more question over there. Excuse me? HANA on containers? Well, I cannot comment on that here, but obviously containers are everywhere now. Like we can see downstairs in the exhibition, containers are everywhere. More questions? No. So thank you again for your attention. And thank you for not falling asleep, and enjoy the rest of the event.